Hey, Stoic warriors, listen carefully for a second. A man once woke up on a random Tuesday morning, sat at the edge of his bed, and realized something that shook him completely. He had done everything right for years. He worked hard, stayed consistent, avoided distractions, followed every rule people told him would lead to success, and yet his life looked exactly the same. Same stress. Same frustration. Same feeling of being stuck. That was the moment it hit him. Not that he wasn't working hard, but that he had been working in a way that was quietly pushing success away from him instead of pulling it closer. Now here's the part most people never hear. That same man didn't suddenly get lucky. He didn't meet the right person overnight. He didn't stumble into success. What he did was far more uncomfortable than that. He changed 5 specific ways he was thinking and moving through life, and over time, everything around him started changing too. So in this video, I'm going to show you those 5 shifts. Not surface-level motivation. Not things that sound good for 5 minutes and disappear. I'm talking about real, uncomfortable truths that actually change how success responds to you. But before we go into it, I want you to do something simple. If you're serious about changing your direction, not just listening and forgetting, drop this in the comments right now. I'm ready for change. It might sound small, but that one action tells your mind you're not just here to watch, you're here to move. And while you're at it, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss what we do here on Stoic Quiet Strength. Every week, we go deeper than most people are willing to go. And one more thing. Don't skip. Every single part of this connects. If you miss one, you miss the full picture. Stay with me until the end, you'll understand why. Number 1, stop trying to force success. I know that sounds strange at first. Because everywhere you look, people are telling you to push harder, grind more, chase faster. And yes, effort matters. Discipline matters. Showing up every day matters. But there's a quiet line that most people cross without realizing, the line between effort and force. Let me explain it in a way that hits real life. You ever notice how when you want something too badly, everything starts to feel tense? You overthink your decisions. You rush conversations. You second-guess yourself constantly. You start reacting instead of responding. That tight feeling in your chest, that's not ambition. That's pressure. And pressure makes you move in a way that actually pushes opportunities away. Think about people for a second. When someone is trying too hard to impress you, when they're constantly seeking your validation, when everything they do feels forced, what do you naturally do? You pull back and create space. That's because it doesn't feel natural to be around that energy. Now understand this clearly, success responds the exact same way. When you're forcing things, when your entire identity depends on one outcome, you start making decisions from fear. You accept things you shouldn't accept. You speak when you should listen. You rush when you should be patient. And slowly, without even realizing it, you move further away from what you're trying to reach. The Stoics understood this deeply. Seneca once said something that most people read but never fully absorb. He said, "He who is everywhere is nowhere." Think about that slowly. When your energy is scattered across everything because you're desperate for something to work, you end up nowhere. No depth. No mastery. No real progress. The shift is simple, but not easy. You still work hard. You still show up. But you remove the desperation. You stop tying your self-worth to immediate results. You focus on doing the work properly, not urgently. You build instead of chase. And I'll tell you something from experience, because I've seen this play out more times than I can count. The moment you stop forcing outcomes and start focusing on your process, something changes in how you carry yourself. You become calmer, more precise, more intentional. And that version of you attracts better results without begging for them. So here's what I want you to do starting today. Work like it matters, but don't panic like it's running away from you. Put in the effort, then step back mentally. Let things develop. Let your work breathe. Because success doesn't respond to desperation. It responds to stability. If that made sense to you, don't just keep it in your head. Type this below so it sticks. I don't force, I attract. And stay with me, because the next one is where most people lose everything without even noticing it. Number 2, control the voice that speaks when you're alone. Let me ask you something honestly. When everything is quiet, no noise, no distractions, no one around, what does your mind say to you? Not what you show people. Not what you post. I mean the real voice. The one that shows up late at night, or early in the morning when you're by yourself. Does it tell you to keep going, or does it quietly remind you of every reason you might fail? Because for most people, if they're being real, that voice is not supportive. It's subtle, but it's constant. It questions everything. It brings up past mistakes. It compares you to people who are ahead. And the worst part, it sounds like you. So you believe it. Now here's what you need to understand. That voice is not just thoughts. It shapes how you move. When doubt becomes your default, your body responds to it. You hesitate more. You speak less confidently. You avoid risks you should be taking. You settle for things that are beneath your potential, not because you want to, but because something inside convinced you that you don't deserve more. And over time, that quiet voice becomes the reason nothing changes. Marcus Aurelius said something that cut straight through this. He said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Read that slowly in your mind. Because that's where most people lose control. They think their thoughts are facts. They're not. They're signals. And you decide how to respond to them. So how do you actually control that voice? Not by pretending it doesn't exist. Not by repeating empty motivation that fades in an hour. You control it with proof. When that voice says you're not capable, you answer it with evidence. Real moments from your life. Times you showed up when it was hard. Times you figured things out when you had no idea how. Times you pushed through fear and still moved forward. You build what I call a mental record, a personal archive of your own strength. Not what people said about you, what you actually did. Because your mind respects evidence. When you remind it of real proof, it starts to shift. Slowly, but powerfully. And I'm not saying this as theory. I've seen what happens when someone starts doing this consistently. The way they walk changes. The way they speak changes. The way they decide changes. Not because their life suddenly became easy, but because they stopped letting doubt make decisions for them. So here's something simple I want you to start doing. Every time you catch that negative voice speaking, don't let it finish unchecked. Interrupt it. Replace it with something real. Something you've actually done. Over time, that voice loses its authority. And I want you to lock this in right now. Don't just hear it, act on it. Go down to the comments and write this: "My mind works for me. Not against me." Because the moment you take control of that voice, everything about how you move starts to change. Now stay with me. Because the next shift is uncomfortable, but it's the one that separates people who talk from people who actually build something real. Number 3, make your actions impossible to ignore. This one is simple, but it's where most people quietly fail. There's a gap in almost everyone's life. A space between what they say they want, and what they actually do every day. And the uncomfortable truth is this: success doesn't listen to what you say. It watches what you repeat. You say you want discipline, but your habits don't reflect it. You say you want growth, but you avoid discomfort. You say you're serious, but your actions are inconsistent. And that gap, that space between your words and your behavior, that's where your results disappear. Let me be direct with you for a second. Every time you tell yourself you're going to do something, and then you don't do it, you're training your mind to stop trusting you. Not other people but you. And once your mind stops believing your own words, everything becomes harder. Motivation fades faster. Focus weakens. Discipline feels forced. Because deep down, there's a part of you that already expects you to quit. Epictetus said it clearly, and this is one of those lines that doesn't need decoration. He said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Not the other way around. Not when you feel ready. Say it, then prove it through action." There's a concept in psychology called cognitive dissonance. It's the discomfort you feel when your actions don't match your beliefs. Most people deal with that discomfort by lowering their standards. They tell themselves, "It's not that important, maybe later, maybe this isn't for me." But people who actually build something, they do the opposite. They raise their actions to match what they said. Let me give you something real. There was someone I watched closely for a while. Always talking about starting something of their own. Always researching, planning, thinking. 2 years passed, nothing changed. One day, they stopped overthinking and did one small thing. Just one. They created something simple and real. Not perfect. Not impressive. But real. And that one action changed everything. Because it closed the gap, even if just a little. And once that gap starts closing, momentum begins. 6 months later, they weren't talking anymore. They were building. Not because of a big breakthrough, but because they finally aligned what they said with what they did. That's the shift. So here's what I want you to do today. Not tomorrow, today. Pick one thing you've been saying you'll do, and do a small version of it. Something real. Something visible. Something that proves to your own mind that your words still mean something. Because once your actions and your words start speaking the same language, people notice. Opportunities notice. And more importantly, you start trusting yourself again. And that kind of self-trust is powerful in a way most people never experience. If you're done talking and ready to build, say it clearly in the comments, "I do what I say." Stay with me, because the next one is something that silently controls your life without you even realizing it. And once you see it, you won't move the same way again. Number 4, stop living inside other people's minds. This one is quiet, but it controls more of your life than you think. Think about how many times you've held yourself back, not because you couldn't do something, but because of how it might look. How many ideas you never started. How many things you didn't say. How many moves you delayed, just because you imagined someone watching, judging, forming an opinion. And the strange part is, most of the time, that someone isn't even real in that moment. It's just a voice in your head, built from past experiences, past criticism, past fear. Psychologists call this the spotlight effect. The belief that people are paying far more attention to you than they actually are. But in reality, most people are too busy dealing with their own lives to constantly analyze yours. You're shrinking yourself for an audience that isn't even focused on you. And even when people do have opinions, you need to understand what those opinions actually are. They're not truth. They're reflections. When someone says something won't work, they're speaking from their own limits, their own fears, their own experiences. They're not describing your future, they're describing their past. Marcus Aurelius wrote something that still applies perfectly today. He said, "We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." Read that slowly. Because that's the trap. You trust your own voice the least, and voices outside of you the most. And that imbalance keeps you stuck. Let me tell you what changes when you step out of that. You get your energy back. The energy you used to spend overthinking, explaining yourself, preparing for judgments that haven't even happened, all of that becomes available again. And when that energy goes back into your work, your growth speeds up. Your confidence becomes visible. Your decisions become sharper. Because now, you're moving from clarity, not approval. And I'm not saying this like it's easy. It's not. You will still feel it sometimes. That hesitation. That thought of, what will they think? But the difference is, you don't obey it anymore. You move anyway. That's what creates real momentum. So here's something simple I want you to carry with you. The next time you hesitate because of someone else's opinion, pause and ask yourself one question. Is this decision based on my direction, or their perception? And then choose your direction. Because your life doesn't belong to the people watching it. It belongs to you. If you understand that, don't keep it silent. Drop this in the comments and mean it, I move without permission. Now stay right here, because the last one is where most people give up. Not because they failed, but because they misunderstood what was happening. And if you get this wrong, everything else we talked about won't hold. Number 5, respect the phase where nothing seems to be happening. This is the one almost nobody gets right. And it's the reason so many people quit right before things start working. Let me explain it in a way you won't forget. Imagine planting something in the ground. You water it, you take care of it, you show up every day, and for a while, nothing changes on the surface. No sign. No proof. No visible progress. Now if you didn't understand how growth works, you'd assume it's not working. You'd get frustrated. You'd stop. Maybe even dig it up to check if anything is happening, and in doing that, you destroy the very thing you were trying to grow. That's exactly what most people do with their lives. They start something. They show up for a short time. Then when results don't appear fast enough, they question everything. They switch directions. They stop completely. Not because it wasn't working, but because it wasn't showing yet. But what you don't see, is what matters most. Under the surface, roots are forming. Structure is being built. Strength is developing quietly. And when that process is interrupted too early, nothing ever fully grows. Your progress works the same way. There will be seasons where it feels like you're doing everything right, and still nothing is moving. No recognition. No results. No clear signs that it's paying off. And those are the moments that test you the most. Because that's where doubt gets louder. That's where people start questioning their direction. That's where most people walk away. But the ones who eventually succeed, they stay. Not because it's easy. Not because they're always motivated. But because they understand something deeper, that just because you can't see progress yet, doesn't mean progress isn't happening. Seneca said something powerful that fits here. He said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." That period you're in, the one that feels slow, uncertain, frustrating, it's not empty. It's building you into someone who can actually handle what you're asking for. And I've seen this play out too many times to ignore. People who kept going when nothing made sense, and then one day, everything connected. Not randomly. Not magically. But because they didn't leave during the phase that most people avoid. So here's what I want you to do when you hit that phase. Instead of asking, why is nothing happening, ask a better question. Ask, what is this building in me right now? Because something is always being built. Patience. Discipline. Clarity. Strength. The kind of qualities that don't show immediately, but make all the difference later. And one day, it shows. In a way that makes every quiet, invisible day worth it. So don't rush the process. Don't abandon what you started just because it's not loud yet. Stay. Let it develop. If you're in that phase right now, and you're still showing up, this is yours. Type it below and lock it in, I stay through the process. Now listen carefully. You didn't just sit through another video. You just faced 5 things that most people spend years avoiding. And the fact that you're still here right now, says something about you. You're not just looking for motivation. You're looking for change. And that matters more than you realize. Because success isn't something that's ignoring you. It's not something that shows up for others and skips you. It responds to how you think, how you act. How you hold yourself when things aren't working yet. Stop forcing everything. Take control of your mind. Do what you say. Stop shrinking for opinions. And stay when it gets quiet. That's the shift. That's what changes everything. That man from the beginning, the one who woke up feeling stuck after doing everything right, the real turning point wasn't when things started working. It was when he stopped needing proof before he believed. That's where you are right now. Right before things start making sense, but only if you don't walk away. So before you leave this video, do this. Hit the like button if something in here actually spoke to you. Not because you have to, but because you felt it. Drop a comment and tell me honestly, which one of these 5 are you struggling with the most right now? I read through them, and you'd be surprised how much clarity you get just from saying it out loud. Share this with one person who needs it, not tomorrow, today. And subscribe to Stoic Quiet Strength, because if this shifted something in you, we're just getting started. And if you want to go deeper right now, there's a full playlist waiting for you in the description. That's where you continue this path without losing momentum. You're closer than it feels. Stronger than you think. And what you're building is already taking shape. Before you go, leave this where others can see it and feel it too. Just type, "My time is coming." See you in the next one.